It is a sad day for the FK7. And today is also a very sad day because it's crappy outside. It's warm, but it's raining. Why is it such a sad day, you ask? Well, because as I was driving home, I noticed that there is some sort of ticking coming from the rear tires on the right side. So I stopped to check what it was. Originally, I thought it was a rock, but if we go over here, see if that's bright enough for you guys, there is a nail stuck in my tire. Luckily for me, it didn't cause my wheel to become flat. Otherwise, I'd have to stop in the middle of a road and put my spare on, which I didn't want because it was super dark that time. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to put on a spare tire on your FK7. Let's go. That's better. So the very first step is to go in your trunk or your hatch, and right underneath this right here, ignore that, that's a future project, but right underneath this is your spare tire and tools that came with the car. Now, if you lift this up, I'm gonna have to get this out of the way. As I was saying, if you go over here, there's a little latch right here, which you just lift up. And then there's your spare. And this spare will include all the tools you need. I'm missing a funnel here because I used it for oil. That was actually meant for to be used for gas. But, you know, I didn't have a funnel that time, so I just used that instead. Anyways, if you lift this out of the way, we have our spare, and to get this off, we would have to twist this right off. Here's our spare tire, and it's already inflated. I haven't checked what PSI it's at right now, but this is our spare tire. We're just gonna lift this out of the way. Okay. Set this down right here. Now, as you can see, it's not a full tire. It's a super skinny tire compared to your normal tire. But this is what comes with the car. This is just a spare, and it's only meant to use temporarily. Okay, when you're in a pinch, like how we are right now, you're gonna need to take that off, put on the spare. It may be ugly, but it'll get the job done. All right, scratch that, because if we get a flat and we want to put the spare on, we won't be able to do it because the toolkit does not include a jack. So you're not gonna be able to jack up your car. It doesn't even include scissor jacks. So yeah, if you get a flat tire, then you're SOL, guys. So first thing you're gonna wanna do is grab your tools. Most importantly, just grab this guy right here. Okay. Now you're gonna go over here. This is the tire that's affected. So with this car having no jack, we're gonna get our own jack, and then we're gonna set it under the car. All right, let me just put on a light. Hopefully you can see, but the first thing you're gonna wanna do, loosen your lug nuts, use your tool, and you're gonna wanna go in a star pattern. Wow, this is gonna be really hard. Now that we loosen the wheel with your stock tool, you're gonna jack the car up since this is now loose. And again, you want to make sure that it's actually where the jack point is. So I'm gonna look under, good. And then just jack up the car. You're gonna wanna have jack stands here. That way, just in case this fails, you'll have backup. Okay. All right, that's loose enough. Get your wheel. Just leave it right here for now. Okay, so now we can loosen all these up. Again, star pattern. Take your wheel. Just gonna leave it here for now. Get your spare and just put this on. Alright, that's the spare. Just hand tighten for now. And you want to rotate this to just to double check that, you know, nothing is hitting the wheel. I apologize for the lighting, guys, but we now have the spare tire on. Again, you're gonna want to use jack stands, but if you're in a pinch, you're in the highway, you're not gonna have jack stands. But you might have scissor jacks, or like me, a small jack. So this is what it looks like with the spare. Obviously it is a small tire. Let me see if that'll help. That's the regular wheel, and if we go over here, that's the spare. Turn the light off. I'm gonna okay, so now that we have all the lug nuts in, we're gonna lower down the vehicle. So let's do this, put this in here and lower. Oof. That always scares me. Okay, so now that the vehicle is lowered, we are now gonna tighten. Normally you're gonna have to torque this a certain foot-pound, but since we're in an emergency, we're just gonna hand tighten this. Again, you're gonna wanna use the star pattern. So just hand tighten this. Don't make it too tight, but just make it tight enough, you know? And that's how you change a spare tire. Hey, at least it's gonna be easier to clean your fender liner, which is super dirty, full of dirt and salt. And now look at this gap. It's a big gap. Last but not least, we're gonna inflate the tire to 60 PSI. Now, with the spare tire, you don't want to go over 50 miles an hour because these tires are obviously not rated for that speed. So I have my tool again. This is from Ryseab. I've already made a video of this, so if you wanted to check out that video, I'll be linking it down below. So we're gonna set this to 60 PSI and we're gonna start. .60 PSI. So we inflated to 60 psi, and it even has a sticker right here. It says spare tire inflation pressure should be 60 psi. Maximum recommended speed is only 50 miles an hour, and this is only for temporary emergency use only. So like right now, this is only temporary. I'm probably just gonna patch up the stock wheel, and I'm gonna stick it back on. So yeah, I'm gonna be driving around with the spare tire for a little bit until I can fix the tire. Anyways, let's come back in the morning so that we can have a better look at what this tire looks like. Alright guys, so we're out in the FK7, and the first thing that you should know is that the tire pressure monitor light will come on, because as you can see on my dash, I have the tire pressure light. That's because we have that spare tire on the right rear of the vehicle. So right now it feels normal, normal driving, normal suspension. Maybe it's because the tire is on the right rear of the vehicle instead of the front. If the tire was in the front, maybe we'd feel it even more, but right now I'm not noticing any differences. But like the tire says, do not exceed 50 miles an hour, and make sure you have the correct tire pressure on, which is 60 psi. So yeah, you know, this is just a temporary thing, and right now it's riding fine. We're at about 35 miles an hour, and we're doing all right. We're fine. Oop. Just went over a bump and it feels normal. There's no difference in how the ride feels. And now it's time for subscriber builds, where I show off your builds on my channel. And today's first build is... First up, we have Ryan Osterley, and he says, "Hey man, hope you're doing well. I love your videos a lot. Happy holidays and to your family. This is my 2017 Honda Civic hatchback." Next, we have Alan Fenton build, and he says, "Hi Chris, this is my 2021 FK7 Sport. Keep up the great content." If you want your build to be featured on the channel, send me an email at christimefk7@gmail.com so that your build can be featured on my channel. Back to the video. Alright guys, so that about wraps up this video. Again, this spare tire is only going to be used for emergency purposes only. It's not going to be a long-term thing that you're going to be putting on the car. I'll also be doing a video, which would be next week's video. I'm going to show you guys how to plug a tire, because if you go over here, here's a little sneak peek. This is the tire. This is where the nail was. So I plugged this up and it works like brand new. No air is leaking. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to do it next week. Anyways guys, thank you all for watching. This is Time FK7, and peace out.